the reason for this visit, because when people ask me how the Chris Hope Foundation got started, I talk about our story.
Yes.
And then one day I realized I've always told my version of it, but me personally, I have never heard your version of it, because, well, I know first of all it was a surprise. You
Yes.
didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what
Right.
was happening, because I didn't want to let you make a promise and then let you down.
Right.
So that's why I'm here. I am here to let you hear her reaction, because this is the woman that you hear me talk about, so home that we out here at the house. So here's a picture of the house that we were able to save and let this be home for you.
Yes.
And so this was, I think, Chris Hope Foundation was official like a few months prior to that. Uh,
Yeah, because I think you can't. The reason I think it all started is because you were visiting me and Haley in the hospital, and I was on the phone of get her on disability,
hmm
and I was talking a house note. How am I supposed to pay bills when I'm a single mom here with my daughter and no income coming in? When you overheard all that,
How long were you guys at St. Jude?
a year.
A year.
Yes,
Okay.
almost a year. It was like probably 10 or 11 months.
Okay.
So,
And if I was, which is always suspect, but if I remember correctly, I remember you in the chair, in the corner, slumped down in the chair,
okay.
and slumped down in the chair, and had this very, very, I don't know, sad look on your face. And I remember the tears.
Yeah.
And of course, I was thinking that you all had got some bad news that you
Yeah.
had to stay longer.
Yeah.
And of course, that ended up not being the case. You was
Yeah.
having that phone conversation.
Yeah.
So you was at St. Jude a year, and so for you, being a single parent, because you had Haley, you had Austin,
Yes.
right? And so, how much of a struggle was that for you during that time?
It was a big struggle. Um, because I was away from one kid
hmm
and with the other one all the time, with her being sick. And my sister helped out for a while. She came and moved into my house to take care of my son, but when then she moved to Georgia, he had to go and move in with his dad and his stepmom.
hmm
Um, but he did spend the summer there with us, and I think that's when you met
Yes,
Austin.
yes.
So yeah, and he spent the summer up there, and he got to know everybody. He was my social butterfly, always out and about, and Haley was always in.
Right.
But yeah, and it was a struggle trying to get everything because a lot of the time my family had to do fundraisers and
hmm
everything to keep my bills paid for me and the house note paid. But I mean, eventually you can only do so much,
Right.
and
Right.
funds run out. And
Right.
it was about that time when they finally sent me home and I was able to go back to work. And then you came in and you, sorry, a bug.
I was like, "Are you okay? Are you
That's
okay?"
a bug.
Okay.
But then you came in and you were like, I'm starting this foundation, and you presented me with a check for some money, and
hmm
you even, I think, gave me a bracelet or something like that.
I probably did. I probably did. It
And,
wouldn't surprise me if I did that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, and you came in and you told me you were moved by mine and Haley's story on how you sitting there and us struggling trying to figure out how we were going to pay everything. And it was very emotional, you coming in and doing that, especially knowing you didn't have to, but
hmm
starting a whole foundation over it. It was just wonderful knowing that, how many families you've helped since you started it with us. but it's just been surreal, I guess.
Mhm.
10 years, almost 10 years
Almost 10
later,
years later,
and
yeah.
she's still in remission and doing
Yes.
wonderful. And how you helped to keep it going and keep all these families in good spirits and everything. And there's not a day I don't remember all of us getting together and just
Mhm.
laughing and playing Uno or
Uh, because
doing
I am
something.
the Uno champ.
He
I am
thinks
the
he's the Uno
I
champ.
am the Uno champ.
He
Uh,
thinks he's
oh,
the
come on.
Uno
They
champ.
always are like that. Haters gonna hate. You know the story. And Trisha, don't you take. But I enjoyed those times. I mean, all of this was new to me,
Yeah.
and so
Because
to
I don't think you realized how much the families were struggling
didn't have a clue.
when you came in and you heard me trying. I'm like, how am I going to pay my house note if you don't put her on disability? How am I going to, be able to support and live when I get home
Hmm.
if y'all don't do this? I
Right.
mean, how can you know when she has got cancer and going through all this medical procedures and with all the blood transfusions and getting platelets and all the things, getting the chemo and all
Hmm.
the things that went with it?
Yeah.
How are you not going to approve her for disability?
Yeah.
You know, and then with my family back here, trying to do all these fundraisers and, you know, everything to get money to help make sure that I didn't lose anything.
Right.
It was a struggle, and then for you to start the foundation because of what you overheard, and
Right.
then being the first recipient of
Right. The
your
very first
very
one.
first
How about
recipient,
that? So it's
your
all her
kind
fault. It's
heart.
all. See, like we need to have a program or something named after you guys.
No, no,
See, like we
no.
had. At least the foundation name should have been yours.
No, it's all you. But I mean, you know, it was a very emotional time. It
Mhm.
really was.
Mhm.
You know, watching her go through all that, and then she just went back for her scans about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Mhm.
ago, and all her scans are great and everything. And actually, her kidney functions come up, so that's
That's
awesome
good.
because it was
That's good.
down to 60, and it has been for the last 9 years,
Uh
and
huh.
then it was up in the 80s,
No, what is the number you
90.
look? 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the numbers are up. The numbers are better.
Yes.
She's getting better.
Yes.
She's how old was she when she was diagnosed?
17.
Okay. So
She was in her junior year, the end of her junior year when she got diagnosed. Um, what was funny was she was having issues uh, with her leg,
hmm.
and um, we went to New Orleans for a Mardi Gras parade. And in New Orleans, they have the Italian Irish parade where they throw vegetables and fruit and stuff
Mhm.
off of
Mhm.
the floats and stuff. And guy was like, I'm gonna throw you an apple. Well, she missed, and it hit her right where her tumor was.
Mm.
And
Man,
and
ain't that something?
yeah. So after that, it was like, Mom, I can barely walk. It hurts, and it swole up.
Yeah.
And that's because the tumor got irritated
You're
or
right.
inflamed or whatever hell tumors do. But
Whatever tumors do. Right. Right.
but so we eventually took her to the doctor, and um, I was like, look, I've been off. I told her dad, you take her,
Mhm.
and they did, and they did an X-ray, and then her doctor's like, okay, we're gonna send her to Shriners. Went to Shriners with her. They were like, let's do an X-ray, and I'm like, okay, we just did one 2 days ago, but okay.
Right.
So they did one. They're like, we don't want her on regular crutches. We want her on different kind of crutches. I'm like, she needs to be on crutches.
Mhm.
Well, no, it wasn't that one. That wasn't until we got to St. Jude that they put her on a different kind of crutch. But they did want her to be on crutches. They didn't want her walking on it. And then they were like, "We want to send you to the St. Jude affiliate." Like when they said that,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
like, okay.
So what was the emotion like that overcame? Because I
Oh,
know it just hit you.
it hits you. I mean, you're like, nobody was saying anything.
Mhm.
So it was like, go to this doctor, go to this doctor, go to this doctor. And we get to the St. Jude affiliate, and of course, they wanted to do x rays again, and they wanted an MRI. So we went and did all that. And I want to say all that was within a week's span.
Mhm.
And then they were like, okay, we have an opening at St. Jude for Tuesday. So it was like,
And what
after
day was
that,
this?
this was on a Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
And they still never said she had cancer or a
Mhm.
tumor or anything. They just said, we got a we got an opening already for you over there. Be there Tuesday.
Wow.
So, you know, you're sending us to St. Jude, you're sending us here, but you're not telling us anything,
Right. And you're not gonna send me to St. Jude for
unless,
just yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, she's got cancer, and it was just like, boom, boom, boom. It was like, go to this, go to this place, go to this place, and then it was like, so we got to St. Jude probably Tuesday night. They checked her in, they showed her around. By the next day, she was doctor after doctor after doctor, and by, I want to say the next day, she had a port put in, and I mean, it was like,
So they went through all that, but they still hadn't told you. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was like, why can't you just say, she's got cancer, you know,
Mhm.
this is what we need to do, this is where you need to go to get her treated.
Right.
It wasn't like that. It felt like everything was hush hush,
Mhm.
but I mean, once we met with her doctor and everything, and he was like, okay, well, you're going to meet with this doctor, and y'all going to figure out what port, and he's like, we need to, it's, it wound up being osteosarcoma, which is a form of bone cancer, where
Mhm.
they actually had to remove her femur. So from about here to here, she's got a scar, and they, did a knee replacement, but they kept her kneecap, but she's got a scar,
Mhm.
where she's got a titanium rod in there. But other than that, I mean, she took a while to recover, and with all the chemo and all that stuff, she really she stayed in the hospital more than
Mhm.
she was out the
Wow.
whole time we were there, and she never felt good at all. But she she's amazing though. She went to college after she got done with everything, and
Right. Did we give her a scholarship?
no,
We didn't give her a scholarship.
uh-uh,
Why didn't we?
I don't know.
Huh? Did we talk about it once? I want to say that we talked about it. M-
Maybe,
Okay.
but I
Maybe,
don't think so.
maybe at the time it was an idea.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She went off to college for graphic design,
Okay.
and she's actually working for a graphic design company now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, she
Y'all
is.
know what I'm thinking. Yeah. Put that talent to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most people go to college and don't they don't go into the field that they went to college for,
Right,
but
right, right.
she did, and I'm very, very proud of
That's
her.
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
very proud of her for it.
So while you were there, um, and after you guys was able to go home, how often were the appointments to just for the checkups and scans and things like that?
For the first 3 years, I want to say it was every 6 months. Well, first year was every 3 months,
Every 3 months.
and then after first year, then it moved to every 6 months, and
Okay.
then it was like that for, I want to say, maybe 2, 3 years,
Hmm.
and then after that, it's just been one visit a year.
One visit a year.
Well,
So
no, because it went to two, and then it went to one.
okay.
So yeah,
So during that time where you every 3 months, did you have a job then?
I did.
Able to keep that job?
I have been with this job for 15 years.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yes,
Awesome. Okay.
they held my position at my job. I
Awesome.
didn't have the same position when I came back, but they held my job.
They held your job.
So I was able to, come back in and start working when I
Good.
got back into town.
Good.
So yeah,
Yeah, because I know most, well, not most, but there's a percentage of parents, they go back, they have to find a job, then it's tough for them to keep the job
right.
because every 3 months or 90 days they have to leave
Yeah,
for scans, and employers was like, we need somebody that's going to be here,
yeah.
and
I
they lose
was
out.
I was blessed. I will say I was blessed to
Hmm.
have them hold my job and have a job when I came back. They were very understanding
Hmm.
of the situation. And it helped 5 years and I already had sick. I was able to use, my sick time to take her on her
Hmm.
um, scans and stuff like that.
Right.
So I have been blessed to keep my job that
Awesome.
I had before I left,
Good
and I
deal.
didn't have to go and
Go through it.
find anything
Right.
else.
Cool. I leave. I reach out to some friends and
Mhm.
say, look, here's the situation. This is what we got going on. Uh, let's pitch in some money to help them save their home so they have a home to go to.
Right.
I come to you the very next day. You didn't know why I was coming.
Nope.
I didn't say, look, I'm going to see what I can do to help you out, to help you save your home, because I didn't
Right.
want to disappoint you if we weren't able to do it. But we were, and I bring you the money,
Mhm.
your emotions when
I
you realize that
Yes.
I had this for your next mortgage payment.
Right.
What were your emotions?
It was a blessing. It was emotional, crying, of
A
course.
lot of
I
crying.
have
Not by
crying.
me, but
Oh yeah,
by her,
don't lie.
yeah.
Um,
Stick to the script. No, I'm just kidding. But
but
yeah,
no, there was a lot of crying and hugging,
yeah,
and I mean, it was a blessing. And knowing that, especially know I wasn't expecting anything, I
right,
wasn't expecting nothing. I
right.
mean, I just knew, you know, how, you always have in the back of your mind, how am I going to pay my next mortgage payment or
Hmm.
whatever, and that came at a great time for me, and it was just emotional and a very good blessing.
Yep. I mean, because pretty much you are the reason CHF is where they are, where we are now.
Yes.
You create that spark, and my words were, now let's see what we can do for other people. We was able to do this
Yes.
and see the impact that it had on you,
Yes.
and it was like, let's see what we can do for other families.
And look
And
what you've done.
yeah,
You have made a lot of families happy and helped them to probably no extent, because
right.
I've seen on Facebook you're, building houses and, all
Yeah.
kinds of different things,
Yeah, because when I met you, there was no Chris Hope
No,
Foundation.
there
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
There wasn't.
I would basically just visit and listen. That's how I found out that there is a need. Because of course everybody talked about the chemo that day, the physical
Mhm.
therapy that day. My child was so sick today,
Yeah.
and all those stories. But then I would also hear the stories like, man, back at home, um, you know, Austin. I'm just using your
Yeah.
son's
No,
name.
you're
Yeah,
fine.
Austin is with his aunt and or grandma, and he's getting on their nerve, and they're tired of keeping up with the sibling,
Yeah.
or oh my gosh, I got to be able to pay the light bill. I don't know how to pay the light bill, and hearing all these struggles,
Right.
you know, never knew they existed
Yeah.
until hanging out with you guys,
Mhm.
and then
And it's a struggle for everybody, because I heard, being there for as long as we were, there were a lot of people who lost their jobs and lost
uh-huh,
their houses and
mm-hmm,
stuff like that.
right,
So I was blessed not to have that happen to me.
mm-hmm,
You and your foundation, not at the time,
right,
but
right,
what it
right,
is
right, right,
now.
yeah,
But, you know, the kindness of what you did that day
mm-hmm,
was just amazing.
yep, yep. So all of this is going on. It's pretty much because of you.
What
Because
can
you
I
just
say?
so happened to be there during that phone call.
Yeah.
24 hours in a day, but I was there for that 6 minutes during that phone call.
Yes, you were.
And the rest is history.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm very thankful. You used to talk about other families losing their home. I remember this guy. I tell this story sometime. This
Mhm.
guy, they were getting ready to go home. I don't even remember who this guy was, but his daughter had got through all the treatments, the
Mhm.
protocols, and they were going home. But yet he still had this sad look on his face. And I was like, "You're going home. Your kid is great. What's wrong?" He said, "Well, the problem is we don't have a home to go to." And it was like, oh my goodness. But I don't remember if that was before
Mhm.
or after talking with you and helping you
Yeah.
out. I want to say it was after. It had to be after.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was upset because he didn't have a home to go to. Another family that became very close to, they
Mhm.
came close to losing their home. Um, I think no, I think they actually lost their home, but they was able to get a rental apartment
Right.
to while they were there. So there are a lot of stories
Oh
similar to
yeah.
yours, and not necessarily have a good ending.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a huge need out there when it
There
comes to the
really
families.
is. There
Yep.
really, really is. And it's sad to think that these families are losing everything so that way they can be with their children
Right.
to make sure that they stay alive.
And
It's,
what I also think is messed up because I know some families who have gone through this is that they lose their home, they lose their car, and after all of that, they end up losing their child.
yeah,
That is
that,
tough.
yeah.
That is tough.
And most of the time when that happens, families don't stay together after that.
Right.
They can't. I
Right.
mean, so I mean, you're not only losing everything, you're losing your spouse too.
Right.
So it's it's hard. It's a hard situation to go through.
Mm.
You know, watching your children go through the emotions of being sick all the time, and of course, I joke with Haley all the time because I tell her she got infused with too much Korean blood while she was there because she she likes all these Asians and she ends
Oh
up
my
doing.
gosh! Shout out to Mike. Oh
But
my
I mean, I
gosh!
joke with her all the
Right.
time.
Right.
But we love Michael, and but it's just funny. I
Yeah.
mess with her all the time
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So if you were to do a promotion for the Chris O
Mhm.
Foundation and speak to potential sponsors,
Mhm.
donors, whatever the case may be, what would you say? I want you to look at that camera
That camera.
and uh, and tell me what would you have to say to them?
I would probably say that this foundation is a blessing to families that are in desperate need to keep their homes, to keep their lights on, to maybe even get back and forth for treatments. Not even necessarily treatments because St. Jude does pay for a lot of that. But going back and forth during the whole cancer process, they'll pay for you to come back for scans, but we paid for going back and forth during the time that it came through. So I would say, going back and forth for treatments if they're going to an affiliate or something like that, because these families are, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes for these families. You haven't had to experience this firsthand where I have. And your donations would be greatly appreciated and put to fantastic use for these families that need whatever they possibly may need, whether it's to save a house or their vehicle or getting their child to their treatments. It is a good foundation to support.
Yep. And you can do that by visiting our website at chrisofoundation.org. Check out all the different stories that we have. from different families from all over the country, and seed raise that you can support. Of course, you can click the donate link to be a one-time donor or a recurring donor. There's also opportunities to be volunteers, sponsorships, all kinds of things that you can do to be a part of what we do here at the Chris Hope Foundation. Angela, thanks for being awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
I appreciate your time.
No, thank you for coming and hearing my story.
Well, it's always good to see my good friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Always.
I always time to smile and clown because you know we are always gonna be doing and saying
Yes.
some silly stuff because that's how we
Yes,
are.
we are.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon.